Stop working in a dark cave. Fancy bright LED hex lights costing thousands were reserved for high-end gyms and wealthy people's exotic car garages. But now, you'll light up your garage like the sun for under $100. I'll show you how to install hex lights with a whopping 16,000 lumens of light, including wiring tips, assembly, full new wireless switch technology to level up your space. After all, why should the wealthy have all the fun? We will show you how to transform your old dim garage ceiling from this into this super bright beauty that your garage has never seen this much light in before. So I need to get rid of all of this clutter here on the ceiling. I'm getting away from using all of these low-hanging fruits anyways. So all of the hanging brackets come off of the ceiling to make room for our new hex lights. Okay, so here's all three of the hexes all ready to go. Now on here, I'm not going to use the same power cord. See, they supply you with two methods of powering this. You can do a plug-in with a little switch here, but I'm going to use the hardwired option. We don't have an outlet on the ceiling, and I could add one. What I'm going to add instead is an outlet box and just run the wire up. I think it's a lot less profile. It's a lot less visible. It's not quite so noticeable to add another outlet onto the ceiling. Now I'm implementing a really cool idea here for my installation on my hex lights for the garage ceiling. And you'll probably want to do the same thing with yours too. So instead of trying to hook this up to the existing garage lights and use that existing switch, I don't want to have to run brand new Romex cables down the wall, fishing wires down the wall, just to make another switch, because I want to control these separately from those main garage lights. So this is a perfect solution right here. This is a $20 kit. It's a wireless light switch that mounts on the wall, and then the little relay that you see there goes inside the outlet box that supplies the power to your hex lights on the ceiling. So here's how it works. Okay, so inside the box, that's our relay. And then this is the switch, and what's really cool, remember, this is no wires or anything. This is a wireless switch, and you just mount this on the plate to the wall. You don't need to run any wiring or anything. Any piece of drywall you have, you just boom, mount it right onto the wall, and then this relay right here goes up into your outlet box. Now what I like about this is they've set it up two ways for you. So you have this typical threaded nut on here. This right here can install on the outside of your can. So you see how you have your can like this, and if you punch out one of these punch out holes right here, it would go right here on the outside of your can, and then you can thread the nut on the inside. Or in my case, since I was smart enough to use a 4-inch can up there, this will just rest right inside the can with all the other wiring, and I won't have to do anything else to it, just like that. So if you're wondering how these work, they have a battery built into them, see, like that, and you just pull the little battery strip out of there. And this will probably last a few years, because how often do you actually use the switch, right? So this will mount onto your drywall here, like that, and then you just slide the switch into place. I've done so many installs over the years that I don't even use the instruction manuals anymore. But if you should need it because you're a newbie and you've never done this before, the instructions and the wiring diagrams here are very easy to follow. So you can see why this is the perfect solution for those of you that don't already have a switch on the wall to run to this particular outlet, because we're doing everything wirelessly here. So all I have to do is just mount this mounting plate onto the wall, and then we will snap the switch on top of this. And that's how it works. There's no wires or anything. Now over here, I'm going to pre-populate the ends of these wires with my Wago wiring nuts. I love these. You've probably seen me using these for many years. I think I've been using these since like 2016. So these are the Wago 221 series. These come in 2-conductor, 3-conductor, and 5-conductor. And so what you do is you put one wire into the hole there. And you'll see links down below in the description. Snap down the lever and it holds it in place. This is a lot easier for some people that don't want to deal with the wiring nuts and having to twist the wires together. Some people have a hard time with that. I've seen a lot of electricians that just stick the two wires in and then put the wiring nut on, but that's not how you do it. You have to twist them together like a swirl, like an ice cream swirl. But at least with these here, you don't have to do that. It's very easy. You just strip the wire, you plug in the one wire there, and you snap it down into place. So now all three of these are ready to go, and all I have to do now is stick this inside the can and then plug in the wires. Very easy, plug and play. So here's my strategy. Since the hex lights come with a dual option to power it, you can either plug it into an outlet up on the ceiling, and in our case, we're going to hardwire it. So if I hardwire it, I need to go and buy a can like this that I'm going to put up in the attic above it, and then I'll figure out where to cut the hole in the drywall for it, and I'll mount it to a floor joist. So this will be mounted, and then what I plan to do is get about 10 feet of Romex cable here, and I'm going to run it to another box that's already up there in the ceiling that's connected. This is a ceiling outlet box, and that this other box supplies power to the outlet that's on the ceiling for the garage door opener. So I'm going to tap into that particular circuit because it already has a straight line back to the electrical panel here. And of course, some of you might know it as a breaker box. Some people call it the load center, but everybody knows what this is. So this can already has power in it directly for the garage. And all we're going to do is just tap into it. So we're going to bust into this box with our Romex wire and tie these together. And so you can see this is very simple. Any of you can do this. It's so easy. You just get these Romex connectors right here and make sure you get the little nut on there as well. And then you run your Romex in there, and all you have to do with the metal boxes is you just need to make sure that all of the grounds are wrapped together and they go into a ground screw in the back of the box. And then the same thing on this side here. So that's my strategy here. But this, all it needs is just to go to the lights. So the Romex coming here into the hex light outlet box, all we have to worry about here is the 3 wires here just need to connect up to the 3 wires that come out of the hex light that are going to go right up into this outlet from underneath. I'm wiring up the can that's going up into the attic. So I've got the white wire here, the black wire, and the copper wire. And I'm using my Wago 221 wiring nuts here to make it a lot easier. And I've been using these for years. Very easy to just plug in the other wires, the 2 wires from the lights, and then snap down the levers to lock them into place. The ground wire here isn't going to be used by the light, so we're going to have to use a green ground screw here and bond this ground wire to the metal can as required by code. Whenever you have a metal can, it must be bonded to the ground. So here is the completed box, bonded to the system ground as per code. And there's our black and white wire and textbook on the Romex connector here. And I have 10 feet of Romex cable. It's going to take us over to the other ceiling box that's up in the attic there that has the line voltage that we need. So I traced the outline around the can, and I'm going to cut right there. That's going to be my hole in the drywall. And then the can will set down into the hole. You pretty much want the front edge of your can to be flush with the bottom of the drywall. Okay, so here I have one of the hexes, as you can see, already connected up. And I'm going to test it. I want to turn it on and just make sure, see how bright these are. So that's why it's so important before you hook this whole thing up. You want to separate all of the parts and get them out on the floor and spread them out so you know exactly where each part is. It's so important to know if I need a 2 connector right here or if I need a 3 connector. And the only reason you would need a 3 connector is for your power right here, or if you're going to continue the hex on to the next hex, to the 2nd and 3rd hexes. So that's when you would need these 3 connectors. And remember, this is a one-time deal basically. Once these snap in, they're almost impossible to get them back out. So it has to work the first time. And then the other thing you have to worry about too is knowing the mirror image. If I lay it out on the floor like this, but I know it's going to hang upside down on the ceiling like this, you see, I have to know where do I want my power connector to be. In my case, I want it to be over here on this side, so it's going to be over here. It's the opposite of where it sits on the floor if I lay it down like this. See here, it's on your left when you're looking at it on the screen, but it's actually going to be over here coming out of the right when it's mounted on the ceiling. So just remember all of those, keep all of those in mind. And also, the manufacturer usually tells you it's safest to maybe mount the first one on the ceiling and then just build out from there 1 segment at a time. That's the easiest way to get these and to screw all of these into the ceiling. Now what I'm going to do is build all 3 of these separately, mount the first one, and once it's mounted, I can mount the 2nd one and then mount the 3rd. So if you want to mount all 3 of these together on the floor, and as long as you have 2 other people to help you, you can lift it up to the ceiling and then just start screwing it in. Okay, so I'm going to take my box here now and start to build the second one. And you could put these face down because this manufacturer puts a small plastic film on there to protect the plastic. So you don't have to worry about scratching, and as long as you're reasonably gentle, then you peel the film off. So we're going to sort of build our hex next to it. We're not going to attach it yet because I want to build it, the hex, and then connect it once it's up on the ceiling. So I'm just kind of laying it out to see what parts do I need. And we're going to need another 3 right here so that we can continue on to the third hex. Snapping him into place. Snapping him into place. So I'm leaving the hexes separate because it's a lot easier for one person to mount one hex at a time onto the ceiling. Okay, now for the third light. Plug in here, we'll have a 2-banger there, a 2-banger here. They give us enough of the 2-bangers so that it'll just end in a corner. Now, I don't know if you can continue on with these and add more, like if you bought 2 sets, but certainly it looks like you've got a 3-banger that would extend off there. So, okay, so put the first connector in. Second connector in. See? It's just that simple. So they're a little bit wiggly, so you just have to be careful when you raise it up to the ceiling to run your screws through all of these holes here. Now, of course, you could hold it up to the ceiling, mark your holes, put the screws on there, and then set this into place. That's another way to do it. But there you go, there's all 3 of your hexagons. So if you look at the length here, these appear to be longer than me. I'm 5'9". And so as you can see here, it goes a couple of feet past my head even. Look, see? To install each of your hex lights onto the ceiling, just place it right on the ceiling where you want it to be, where it's close to where you're going to wire it. And then you see the little loops there. You use the provided thick threaded drywall screws to screw it and secure it right into the drywall ceiling. Okay, so now we're going to wire this into the box. I had to put the neutral for the white wire because there's actually 3 white wire connections up here. There would have been 3 black, except it gets split up. The red is going to take the output now. So I'm going to, here's my, so this one right here is the line coming in, and I'm going to connect the relay to it. So what happens is the power is going to come into the relay, and then the relay is going to go output on this red. So I got to find the smooth wire. There's a smooth and a ribbed. Don't you hate that when they both feel like they're ribbed? I'm going to assume this one feels the smoothest. So the red wire, which is the output of the relay, is going to the light on this smooth textured wire. It would have been nicer if they had made these black and white. It'd be easier for DIYers, but y'all know after watching our channel how to handle these. The other neutral wire is going to go here on that second connection. And then the last one will go right up here. And let's just make sure we have everything right. The line, the black line comes in from the outlet and it connects through this connector into the line input of the relay. The output of the relay is red and it goes to the input of the light. And then you can see here the white wire, which is the neutral, comes from the electric panel and it goes through our connector here and it goes to the light as well. So now everything's wired up, and then ground we're not using. They just don't use it in this case. Since we're using this metal box, I did, as you saw earlier, I bonded this to the system ground right there. So now we're ready to just put all the wires back up into place. You see, because I'm using a metal box, if I had a metal lid, you would probably want to mount this on the outside of the box like I showed earlier. But since I'm using a white plastic lid to match the ceiling, I don't have to worry about that now. I can just put it inside the can like that, you see? And all the wires, as long as everything fits, you're fine. You're not going to violate any codes. So I'm just going to try to feed as much of the wire in there as I can. So there's minimal amount of wire showing compared to a plug. And so up here, you can see the power light is on the relay, so you know we're getting power into the box. And we'll just push it up in there. We'll just push it up in there and put the cap on. Once you have your hex lights fitted onto the ceiling where you want it to be, it's very easy to secure them into place there with those thick threaded drywall screws that you put on the loops there at each one of those little corners. So you make sure the cap is nice and tight to the ceiling. And now I'm going to push in the excess wire there. It's about as much as I can get it to go in. So this is a little bit less obvious than having a plug and an outlet and the plug sticking way down off the ceiling. This is as close as you're going to get to a cloaked installation. Now that we have the first 2 hex rings installed up on the ceiling, it's time to complete the task with the 3rd ring. And I'm just going to plug it in here to those 3-banger connectors that I had. Remember, there was 2 of them that I had placed on the end of the 2nd hex ring so that we could plug in this 3rd hex ring. And once you get them both snapped into place in those connectors, the light should come on the 3rd hex ring. And there you have it. And then it's just a simple matter of using the coarse threaded drywall screws that they gave you in the package there to run them in there. I don't even use any anchors or anything because these lights are so unbelievably light that those coarse threaded drywall screws are perfectly enough to hold them all up to the ceiling. If they ever do decide to fall down, which I doubt that they will, I'll just replace them with little anchors or something like that, little drywall anchors or toggle bolts, but I don't think we'll need it. So what do you think, folks? Did I wire it up correctly up there to the box there with the relay? And is this wireless switch going to work? That's the ultimate question. For $20,000, the trip to Mexico, and the pink Cadillac, let's see if it works. Ooh, baby, it does, see? Perfect, I love these wireless switches. So now we can mount this onto the wall. Here's my $60 Lutron Pico switch for the attic light that controls it wirelessly. But look at this $20 switch with the remote controls our hex lights. Now once everything's mounted and working and you're happy, now you can peel all of the protective film off of the individual light segments. Yay. Then score some drywall mud and patch up all of the holes from your screws on the ceiling. Testing the wireless switch, you hit the top part of the toggle to turn them on, like you saw there. And you see the little indicator light came on too, and then you just turn them off at the bottom. Now the darker areas, look at it on the floor there. See, now the lights just went on, and everything gets a lot brighter. And there it goes off again. See how much darker it gets? So these hex lights are putting lights in areas of the garage where you've never, ever had this much light. See how much brighter it just turned on right there? To the camera's light meter, it looks a lot brighter in person. So this area is just lit up by the overhead light. Now let's turn on the hex lights, and you can see how it just fills every nook and cranny. The shadows behind the bike disappeared. The area where the corner there is, where the ladder is, see how dark and shadowy it is right now? Let's turn them back on and take a look now. See that? Nice and bright. Look at these darkened areas on the floor right there. See how bright it gets, like it's out in the sun. So I stacked a bunch of things up here on the counter to put some deep shadows in the back there. Now watch this. See how it just brightens it up? It fills everything up there with the light.